All right, here we go. On that note, welcome everybody to today's session of Junior Achievement New Jersey's Women's Future Leadership Academy. We are so glad to have you joining us, those of you who are joining us live via Zoom, and those of us who are watching the recording later, we are glad that you are participating as well. I'm Christy Biedron, Director of Education for Junior Achievement of New Jersey, and we are so glad to have you attend our session. This is the first time we've done a Get Energized session, but I'm telling you, I think it's really what we all kind of need right now is we're feeling kind of stressed and the weather's cold and we've got a lot going on. So I think this is a great session to really kind of get us to focus, find our energy sources, and really move forward. But before we do that, I just wanted to say thank you to the amazing companies and organizations who have sponsored the Women's Future Leadership Academy. And it is because of these organizations that we are able to do this every week and bring us all together. So huge thanks to ADP, the Deloitte Foundation, the MetLife Foundation, Sanofi, Church & Dwight, Carney Bank, New Jersey Resources, Merck, CNBC, Wells Fargo, CDW, EY, Fidelity, L'Oreal, Prudential, PSE&G, and Valley Bank. Thank you so much. And of course, we've got some wonderful volunteers from Prudential and Santander who are joining us. So we thank them as well for your volunteerism. Thinking ahead, students, if it's the first time you've joined us today, we are so glad you're here. We do this on Wednesdays all the time, 5 p.m. We are kind of shortening the sessions a little bit to make them fit into different time schedules. So we'll probably end today a little bit before 6. But all of our sessions taking place on Zoom Wednesdays from 5 to probably 5:50. February 9th, next week, we have our next executive career panel. That's when we assemble some really amazing women leaders from right here in New Jersey. They're going to talk about how to lead with courage, how to lead with confidence, and share some great strategies with you and also take your questions. So please don't miss that happening next week. February 16th, we have a session all about knowing yourself. When you know your strengths and how you work, you can be much more productive. March 2nd, effective decision making. So we're going to be talking about how to make those tough decisions at school, at home, with families, putting together a little process that you can make, you can use to make better decisions. March 9th, to celebrate Women's History Month, we have another executive career panel. March 16th, build your personal brand. That'll get you ready for networking and getting your name out there when it comes time to look for jobs. And then April 13th, to celebrate Financial Literacy Month, we're doing another session on financial empowerment. So we hope that you join us. Looking ahead, we're keeping our fingers crossed in hopes that we'll be able to have an in-person forum. But again, stay tuned. That remains to be seen, but we will definitely focus on getting us together at some point this spring, if not March 31st, when it is safe for all of us to do so. Students, again, if you're just joining us, there are lots of opportunities to continue to build your leadership skills with Junior Achievement. In addition to participating today, you can earn our digital badge for career readiness. It's a great micro credential that'll help you stand out from the crowd on your resumes, on your cover letters, on your LinkedIn profiles, and on your college applications. It's very simple. All you have to do is to attend 5 or more sessions, complete a simple survey, and submit a final project. A few of our students who have joined have already received their digital badge, and we congratulate you. There's no due date for this. You can earn your digital badge anytime throughout the rest of the school year. You can also become a student ambassador or council member if you really want to put a great extracurricular on your resume or your application, or if you want to build your leadership skills. We really hope that you'll join us and consider getting more involved with Junior Achievement and the Women's Future Leadership Academy. You can get all kinds of information right there on our website, janjacademy.org. And again, we have a few members of our student ambassadors and our councils joining us today, and we thank you for doing that. So let's talk about energy. And again, I welcome everybody to use that chat feature as we are kind of going through this. So if you have some thoughts, please feel free to put that there in the chat room. And I'll be asking some questions as well. For those of you who are joining, watching this recording later, please feel free to jot down your own ideas as well as we go through this. But let's talk about energy. So just a quick question, kind of get a feel of the room here. If you'd like, please go ahead and use that chat room and tell me in a couple words how you're feeling right now or how your week is going. Are you feeling happy? Are you feeling excited? Are you feeling energized? A couple words or maybe a word or two, just drop a note and let us know kind of how you're feeling. Me for one, I'm feeling excited, but I'm also feeling a little bit nervous because these sessions always make me a little nervous because I want them to go well. But again, I'm really excited, and seeing your smiling faces is really great. So that kind of gives us an idea. When we kind of think about how we're feeling, we get to be a little introspective, and it gets us in the right mood to really talk about energized leadership and how we kind of get our energy. When you know what really matters to you, that's when you can discover your purpose. And when you know your purpose, or what's important to you, what matters to you, that inspires you to gain conviction, to gain courage, and have that confidence that you might not realize that you have. So on that note, I'm going to ask another question in the chat room. Think about something that really matters to you, something that you really feel strongly about, something that you're happy about. Maybe it's a member of your family, maybe it's your pets, maybe it's a hobby that you have, maybe it's an aspiration that you have, something that makes you happy. And again, we're going to refer back to this later when we go into our breakout rooms, because knowing what makes you happy, knowing what drives you, is really the key to finding where you get your energy. So what does this have all to do with leadership? Because we all lead through vision. Good leaders lead through their vision. And that helps us look at challenges as opportunities. It helps us to connect deeply with the hearts and spirits of other people. It helps us to take some risks and exude that positive energy. So that's what we're going to really be talking about in a moment. Okay, so how can we become more energized? Again, I mentioned earlier, this is a time of the year when a lot of us are kind of feeling a little blah, we're tired, it's cold out, there's not a lot going on here, especially now because we're still in the pandemic, it's hard to get out and meet with our friends. So how can we become more energized when we're feeling this way? It's all about learning where your energy comes from and how you manage your own energy sources. We're also going to talk later about how to heighten your emotional literacy. That might be a new term for some of us, emotional literacy. Wow, there's something else that we need to know. But that's all about recognizing positive and negative emotions and their impact on your energy and effectiveness in that moment. And then finally, before we go into our breakouts, we're going to talk about how to build in daily recovery routines to refill your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual energy. And again, I see our volunteers, Anna and Melinda, who are here. If you have any thoughts about this, please feel free to jump in, or if you'd like to answer questions in the chat room or post your comments in the chat room, please feel free to do so as well, because we really do value your feedback. So where does your energy come from? There are 4 places. Mostly we think of our physical energy when we run and when we do stuff. But energy comes from 4 different places. It does come from the physical. And the way to kind of build up our physical energy is to make sure that we get enough rest, right? You've heard this a million times. Make sure that we engage in some kind of physical activity, whether it be, if you're playing sports, that's great. If you don't, maybe some yoga, maybe some stretching, maybe dancing in your kitchen like I do in the morning sometimes, or just taking a walk outside. If you have pets, taking a walk with your dog, or just taking a walk outside. It's always great to get that physical energy, and also healthy eating habits. So taking care of your body will really help you build up that physical energy. Our emotional energy, how do we build our emotional energy? Again, by showing gratitude. Thinking about what you're happy about. When you show gratitude, when you say to somebody or something that you're really thankful for them, that helps you build your emotional energy. Also, it's always really important to make sure that you build those positive relationships and you're spending your time with people who bring out that positive energy. We all know those people that are toxic, right? Sometimes we can't avoid them. They may be family members, they may be classmates, they may be coworkers. Sometimes we can't avoid those people who are toxic, but making sure that we are spending our time with people who make us feel good about ourselves, right? That really helps us build our emotional energy. Next, spiritual energy. Again, when you do something that you find fulfilling, and that's why I asked you this question earlier in the chat room, think about what matters to you. What do you find fulfilling? What kind of feels good in your heart and your soul? That's how we build our spiritual energy. And then finally, our mental energy, right? That's what helps us study, what helps us focus, that mental energy. The way to do that, avoid those distractions. We're all distracted all the time. We always have our phones close by. There's always pop-ups on our computer, always notifications. Finding ways to minimize those distractions, minimizing those notifications, putting your phone away. I know it's hard, but keeping it at a distance helps to avoid those distractions that really disrupt our mental energy, and also to keep a positive outlook. If you wake up in the morning and think, all right, what can I do today? It's going to be a great day. What am I going to accomplish? That's a way to really build up your positive mental energy. So again, these 4 different energies are interconnected. So if you feel like you're low in any of the dimensions, it can bring down the others, which can make you feel exhausted. But the flip side is also true. By improving energy in one area, the others get improved too. So let's take a little more of a closer look on energy and different zones of energy. So you may have seen this kind of matrix before. This is the energy matrix. So this is kind of where we might fit at any given point of the day. And again, if you have any thoughts about any of these, please feel free to post in the chat room. We've all had these different kinds of feelings, and we all spend time in all 4 of these zones. So you'll see there's 4 different zones. We have our performance zone. I put a little star there because that's where we really want to be. That's when we're in high performance mode. When we're feeling enthusiastic, when we're feeling optimistic, challenged, when we're absorbed in something, we feel alive, passionate, and engaged. That's where we want to be, right? That's when we're at high performance. And if you're a leader, if you're leading a team, you want your team to be in that performance zone. So a good leader will kind of get a feel of everybody's energy and make sure that you're working within that performance zone, right? Also, another zone, see if you see that we've got positive energy, negative energy, high energy, low energy. So performance zone is at high energy, high positive energy. Now think about the survival zone. That's the one on the left here when you're at high energy, but it's negative. So imagine the times when you're high energy and it's negative. And we fall into that a lot, right? We've probably felt that way today. When we get into that survival zone, when we feel impatient, when we feel irritable, frustrated, angry, defensive, fearful, anxious, and worried, that's when we're in that survival zone. And when we get into that survival zone, we have to really kind of identify it and find ways to get out of it, because otherwise we're going to end up right below that, which is the burnout zone. We have low energy and negative energy. So signs that you're feeling in the burnout zone: you're exhausted, you feel empty, you're depressed, you may feel sad, hopeless, depleted, discouraged, and lost. And again, we've all been here. Chances are we're in all of these zones every day, right? I know we all feel these kind of stressful things. And sometimes when we get into that burnout zone, we get stuck there. So it's very important to try to avoid that when you can. So how do you avoid it? If you see that you're getting into that survival zone, that's when it's time to maybe take a moment, because when you go into that recovery zone that you see with low energy but positive energy, that's when we recover. And that's the key to the whole thing. That's the key to replenishing your energy to keep you out of that burnout zone. And sometimes it only takes a couple minutes to get back into that positive energy, low energy zone where we feel relaxed, peaceful, relieved, receptive, grateful, calm, rested, and renewed. So if you have any thoughts about these zones, please feel free to post them in the chat room. But again, we want to try to stay in that performance zone when we can. We all probably get in all these zones at any given point within the day. But if we monitor our energy and how we're feeling, we can avoid going from survival to burnout and take a moment to move ourselves into that recovery zone where we feel that low positive energy where we can be relaxed. So let's talk about what that looks like. When we take time to recover every day, recovery can be simple. 10 minutes a day just to recover, you can move back into that high performance zone. And it's important to try to think of a sustaining practice. A sustaining practice is something that you can commit to every day. It can be very simple. Maybe first thing in the morning, again, take that deep breath and say, okay, what is it that I want for myself and for myself today? We talk about mindfulness a lot. Mindfulness is a big piece of recovering. If you know how to be sort of mindful, if you do yoga or deep breathing, how many of you question, how many of you, before you go to bed, the last thing you do, and I do this all the time, is look at your phone, right? How many of us look at our phones the last thing we do before we go to bed? I think a large percentage of us do. And how many of us look at our phones the first thing in the morning, right? Wake up, you look at your phone, right? What happened overnight? What did I miss? Did someone text me? What's going on my Instagram? And there's a lot of negative stuff going on there. So think about maybe not ending your day and beginning your day by looking at your phone. Is there something else that you can do to kind of get into that mindset where you feel like you're comfortable, you're energized, you're feeling good, and you're ready to take on that day? So take time to recover every day, build that in. If you do this already, and if you have suggestions on what you do, you can go ahead and post that in the chat room, or we're going to talk about that in just a moment in our breakout rooms. So I'm going to put this screen up here, and then I'm going to invite our interns, if they'd like to share a couple words about maybe how you are able to manage your energy throughout the day. I know Oriana and Sanjana are both very busy college students, and I know that your comments and your insights are always extremely helpful. So, but first, I'm going to let everybody take a moment to think about what we're going to be doing in our breakout rooms. And if you are joining us, if you are viewing this session at a later time, we invite you to kind of jot these things down on your own. Think about a strength, something that you do well. And we've talked about strength in the last couple of sessions. So if you've noticed, these last sessions this month are kind of building off each other, because we're talking about our strengths and how we can use them to our benefit. So think about your strengths, something that you do well, but most important, something that you enjoy doing. Something that you enjoy doing, that you feel good about when you do, that you look forward to, you feel happy and focused, and you feel fulfilled. That is a strength. It doesn't necessarily have to be something that you do well. There's a lot of things that we do well that we don't like doing. So it's got to be something that you look forward to doing, that you really like doing, and you feel good about it. So we're gonna ask all of our volunteers and students to kind of share a strength or two that you have. But first we'll begin with our mentors again. Introduce yourself to your group, and then students, you can take turns introducing. Mentors, we're going to ask you to just kind of lead those discussions in your breakout rooms, sharing your strengths with each other. Mentors, share your own strengths, and then after that, share something that is causing you maybe to feel stressed. Is there something that's making you feel stressed or is draining your energy? Because sometimes if you talk about what's stressing you out, just getting out there makes you feel better, right? Keeping it in makes it hard, but getting it out there makes you feel better. So share something that's making you feel stressed. If you want to, you don't have to. But we definitely want everybody to take turns sharing its strengths. And then how can you incorporate that into your daily activities? And then finally, the last question that we'll talk about in our breakouts is take turns sharing a way that you can take some time each day to recover. Okay, so again, 3 questions in your breakout rooms. Share something that's maybe causing you to feel stressed or that you're worried about, if you want to. Share a strength of yours that you're proud of, that you like doing. And then finally, share a way that you can take some time each day to recover. So 3 questions that we're going to talk about in our breakout rooms. Okay, so volunteers, are we good with this? Those are the 3 questions we're going to ask. And again, volunteers, we're going to just lead conversations where we kind of have group sharing. And again, for those of you who are joining us later, if you're watching the recording, just jot these down yourselves. Think about what's causing you to feel stressed, and then what a strength is. How can you use that more to your advantage and help you boost your energy? And then finally, how can you take some time each day to recover? How are you going to work that into your schedule? Okay. So at this point, I am going to invite our interns, Oriana or Sanjana, if you'd like to say a couple words to the group. Oh, I see Ola Demeje, our new intern, is joined too. Welcome, Ola. But Oriana, I'll start off with you, and if you'd like to share any of your own thoughts about energy.
Yeah, of course. Hi, everyone. I hope you are all doing well. As Chrissy said, my name is Oriana, and I'm currently a sophomore in college. And I think one thing that's really important is to really dig deep and figure out what makes you the happiest. Because it's very easy to go throughout your day, especially in college when you are so trained, you have to get certain assignments done because we all have due dates for our classwork. So it's very important to take tiny breaks in between, as Christy mentioned. So take a 10-minute break, even if it's just like listening to music or grabbing to go to get a snack, because sometimes you might forget to eat, especially if you're like in like a workaholic mindset. It's really important to just do really small things in between to keep that to keep you going and to keep you motivated, because it can get really discouraging at times. So I think it's really important, once again, just to take care of yourself. A lot of things are going on, as Christy mentioned as well. So, you know, you want to make sure you are okay mentally.
Yeah, I completely echo what Oriana said. And I think it's also important to just take time for yourself, spend some time with friends, make sure that you're getting the rest that you need, because as she said, it is very tedious in college and easy to get sort of caught up in what you're doing. So just make sure that you surround yourself with people and take some time to do things that you want to do. For me, I like reading, so that's something I try to do. So just be mindful of all of that going forward.
Yeah, I won't say much now, but I agree with what they said. It's good to like take time for yourself to like just relax. One thing I do is like I watch like movies or shows, like just not think about school or work, because like thinking about all of that like throughout the days, it's a lot, you know. So yeah, that's what I do.
All right. Thank you, interns, Sanjana, Oriana, and our newest intern, Ola Demeje. We appreciate you guys participating. And again, so volunteers, we have 2 rooms. Melinda and Anna are going to be leading the rooms. And we have, each room has some of our student ambassadors and our JA and J interns as well. So please feel free, ambassadors or interns, please feel free to jump in as well and lead the conversations. But again, we're just going to be talking about these things, just a little group sharing led by our amazing volunteers. And then we'll bring everybody back here in about 15 minutes, and then we'll have a large group sharing again. Okay? All right, so just simply follow the prompt on your screen, and we will see you back here shortly.